The Martian is a science fiction film directed by Ridley Scott and stars Matt Damon. Before I saw this film, I had doubts about this film because for years Ridley Scott had been delivering films that haven't met the standards of his previous films. Basically after 2000, which was the year Gladiator came out, Ridley Scott began delivering us just terrible and not that great films. Films like Kingdom of Heaven, Body of Lies, and Robin Hood failed to connect with audiences. And Prometheus was a good film, but it didn't capture the essence of the previous Alien films. And Prometheus wasn't the big success that it should have been. And Ridley Scott's previous two films, The Counselor and Exodus, were so bad that I basically nearly lost all my respect I had for Ridley Scott. Every time Ridley Scott released a new film, I gave him a chance. And when I saw Exodus, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give you one more shot, Ridley Scott, one more, and then I'm just done. If you fail on your next film, I'm just done. So a year after Exodus was released, here comes The Martian, and it was one of the biggest surprises I've ever seen. This film was not only engaging, it had a great story, great cast. Like the main character played by Matt Damon was a really compelling character. The success this film got was huge, and like this film to date is Ridley Scott's highest grossing film of all time, with $596 million in the box office. So yeah, as I mentioned before I went into this film, I had doubts, went into it, and I came out of the film at the end with my mind blown. It was amazing. This is the first science fiction film in years where I was just fully into it. I was engaged in the entire story. The premise is about Mark Watney, played by Matt Damon, who after an incident is stranded on Mars, and he must rely on his survival ability and his botany skills to survive. One of the praises I must give this film for is, like, the science that is used in this film is actually pretty accurate. I looked up a lot of the sciences that were used in this film, and a lot of it was actually accurate. Ridley Scott stayed true to the source material that was written in the book. And this is the first film in a long time that made me feel like I was there with the main character. Like, he was stranded on Mars by himself, basically, like, using his own skills to survive. I felt like I was there with him. And Matt Damon, once again, gives another brilliant performance, and his Oscar nomination for Best Actor is well deserved. They actually got a really fantastic cast, like Matt Damon's in the film, Jessica Chastain's in the film, Jeff Daniels is in the film, Kristen Wiig's in the film, there's many more. Basically this film, like, stars an all-star cast, and with the scientists on Earth, you know, they're trying to figure out a way to bring him home. Previous Ridley Scott films they felt really grim and hopelessness, and that's why they didn't get the great reception that they did. But here, like this film, they showed that the people on Earth, they're not willing to let Matt Damon die on Mars. Like, they actually want him to come home, like, and they're trying everything they can. This is the first film in many years that has truly captured the human spirit. Because Matt Damon is using his skills to try and survive as long as he can, and the people on Earth are trying to figure out a way to bring him home. And there are many scenes on Earth where it shows that many people from other countries are, you know, collaborating with the Americans to try bring Matt Damon home. One of the most surprising aspects of this film for me was this film was actually hilarious. Like, there was a nice comedy factor. As I said, this film could have been grim and dark like Ridley Scott's previous films, but no, this film, you know, instead of trying to be grim and just dark and just be all mopey and depressing, they actually add a bit of humor to it, and that's what really adds to this film's success. The comedy in this film makes you feel more engaged to the characters, and even the visuals and the cinematography looks good, and it gave a true representation of what Mars might look like. There were many moments in this film where an incident happened and they could have been dark and grim with it, but instead they added a comedic factor to it, and it like showed that this film had heart. It didn't have to be, you know, completely dark and, you know, just be really depressing. Like, it adds hope. You know, it adds hope to the film that Matt Damon might eventually come home. Overall, this is one of the greatest Ridley Scott films in years. It is an absolute must-see. People must see this. The film is engaging, compelling, it's hilarious. The cast is great, and I was a bit disappointed when Ridley Scott didn't get nominated for Best Director because, like, as I said, Ridley Scott has just delivered one of his best films in 15 years. I'm glad this film got nominated for 7 Oscars because this film absolutely deserves it. And this film gets a 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching this video. If you like what you see, be sure to click that subscribe button. Thank you for watching.